Did you know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February? It's a sobering statistic. But here's the kicker. It's not because people don't want to change. It's because they don't know how to change effectively. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share a blueprint that will flip this statistic on its head. You'll learn exactly what to do in the first 90 days of 2025 to set yourself up for unprecedented success. This isn't just another motivational talk. It's a practical, proven strategy that will transform your approach to goal setting and achievement. Okay, before I forget, I'd like to hear from a little bit about what I discussed, and that is 1 year from today. Picture this. It's January 1st, 2025. You're brimming with hope, energy, and big dreams. The new year stretches out before you like a blank canvas, ready for you to paint your masterpiece. But fast forward to March, and it's a different story. The gym membership card is gathering dust. That new hobby you were so excited about has been forgotten. And those lofty career goals, they seem further away than ever. But let me tell you, you're not alone. This scenario plays out for millions of people every single year. It's the resolution trap, and it's been snaring well-intentioned folks for decades. But here's the thing. It's not your fault. The system is rigged against you from the start, okay? And the reason why is because it's been rigged against you from the start. So what's going wrong? Why do so many of us fall into this trap year after year? It all comes down to three main pitfalls: vague goals, lack of planning, and unrealistic expectations. Let's break these down. First up, vague goals. I want to get healthy, or I want to be more successful. Sound great, don't they? They're positive, they're aspirational, but they're about as useful as a chocolate teapot when it comes to actually making changes. Without specificity, your brain has no clear target to aim for. It's like trying to hit a bullseye in the dark. Our energy is spent on guessing, and our minds drift away talking about things we can't control. So what do you do next? This is what Genesis helps you with. Next, we've got the lack of planning. Even if you do manage to set a specific goal, without a solid plan, you're essentially hoping for the best. And hope, my friend, is not a strategy. It's like setting out on a cross-country road trip without a map or GPS. You might eventually get somewhere, but it's probably not where you intended to go. Finally, there's the trap of unrealistic expectations. We live in a world of instant gratification, and it's warped our perception of how change happens. We expect to see dramatic results overnight, and when we don't, we get discouraged and give up. It's like planting a seed and expecting a full-grown tree the next day. Nature doesn't work like that, and neither does personal growth. Now, here's the stark reality. By February, most people have already thrown in the towel on their resolutions. The gyms empty out, the healthy eating plans get abandoned, and those big dreams start to feel like distant memories. But why? Is it just a lack of willpower? Is it just, or is it merely weakness? The consumer satisfaction score for resolutions is noticeable. Here's a secret that the self-help gurus don't want you to know. Willpower alone is not enough. In fact, relying solely on willpower is a recipe for failure. Think about it. Willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired with use. If you're constantly fighting against your habits and environment, eventually that willpower muscle is going to give out. And when it does, you're right back where you started. So if willpower isn't the answer, what is? To understand that, we need to dive into the psychology behind goal setting and why traditional approaches often backfire. Let's talk about the goal setting process itself. Most people approach it all wrong. They set goals based on what they think they should want, not what they truly desire. They focus on the outcome without considering the process. And they often set goals that are in conflict with their core values or beliefs. Here's an example. Let's say you set a goal to lose 20 pounds by summer. Sounds specific, right? But dig a little deeper. Why do you want to lose weight? Is it for health reasons, to feel more confident, or is it because society tells you that's what you should want? If your goal isn't aligned with your true values and desires, you're going to struggle to stay motivated when the going gets tough. Now, let's talk about habit formation and motivation. This is where things get really interesting. You see, our brains are wired for efficiency. They love patterns and routines. When you try to make a big change all at once, your brain goes into panic mode. It resists because change feels dangerous. That's why the all or nothing approach that many people take with their resolutions is doomed to fail. Your brain prefers small incremental changes that it can adapt to over time. It's like turning a large ship. They can't do it all at once, but with small, consistent adjustments, you can completely change course. Motivation, on the other hand, is not the steady fuel source many people think it is. It's more like a wave. It comes and goes. Relying on motivation to carry you through to your goals is like trying to surf on a calm day. You might catch a wave now and then, but mostly you'll just be treading water. So, what's the alternative? How do we break free from this cycle of hope and disappointment? The answer lies in understanding the key difference between wishful thinking and strategic planning. Wishful thinking is passive. It's dreaming about what you want without taking concrete steps to make it happen. Strategic planning, on the other hand, is active. It's about breaking down your big goals into small, manageable steps. It's about creating systems and habits that move you towards your goals, even on the days when you don't feel motivated. Think about it this way. A wish is saying, I want to be a millionaire. A strategy is saying, I'm going to increase my income by 10% this year by developing a new skill and negotiating a raise. See the difference? One is a vague hope, the other is a concrete plan of action. But here's the really exciting part. When you shift from wishful thinking to strategic planning, something magical happens. Your goals start to feel achievable. You start to see progress, even if it's small at first. And that progress feeds into your motivation, creating a positive feedback loop that propels you forward. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I've tried setting goals and making plans before. What makes this time different? And that's a fair question. The truth is, knowing about the problem isn't enough. You need a system, a blueprint that takes into account all these psychological factors we've talked about. That's where the 90-day plan comes in. It's not just another goal-setting exercise. It's a comprehensive approach that addresses all the pitfalls we've discussed. It's about setting the right goals, creating the right habits, and building the right mindset to make lasting change. But before we dive into the details of this plan, I want you to do something for me. Take a moment and think about all the times you've set New Year's resolutions in the past. Think about the excitement you felt at the beginning and the disappointment when things didn't work out. Now, imagine how different things could be if you had a proven system to follow, a roadmap that could guide you step by step towards your goal. That's what we're going to explore next. We're going to break down this 90-day blueprint and show you exactly how it can transform your approach to goal setting and achievement. We'll talk about how to set the right kind of goals, how to create habits that stick, and how to build momentum that carries you through the tough times. But I want you to remember something important. This isn't about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or never facing setbacks. Those are part of the journey. What this blueprint gives you is a way to navigate those challenges, to learn from them, and to keep moving forward no matter what. And then that creates this habit of learning, growth habit of learning how to really navigate those challenges. Those blueprint give you is a way to navigate those challenges, those blueprint. So are you ready to leave behind the cycle of failed resolutions? Are you ready to stop wishing and start doing? Because that's what this is all about. It's about taking control of your future, about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just set goals, but achieves them. In the next section, we're going to dive deep into the first crucial step of this process, clarity. Because as we've seen, without a clear destination, even the best roadmap won't get you where you want to go. We're going to talk about how to get crystal clear on what you really want and why that clarity is the foundation of all success. Remember, the first 90 days of 2025 aren't just about achieving goals. They're about becoming the kind of person who achieves goals consistently. They're about building the habits, mindset, and systems that will serve you not just for the next 3 months, but for the rest of your life. Also known as the first 30 days, there are what we call growth hackings that serve you not just for the next 3 months, but for the rest of your life. So let's leave behind the resolution trap. Let's move beyond wishful thinking and into strategic action. Because when you have the right approach, the right mindset, and the right plan, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Are you ready to make 2025 the year everything changes? Let's get started. Ask yourself, if you don't know where you're going, how can you expect to get there? This simple question lies at the heart of why clarity is so essential to success. It's not just a nice to have, it's the cornerstone of any plan that actually works. Let me tell you, I've seen countless people start their journey towards self-improvement with the best intentions. They're fired up, ready to make changes, but there's one crucial element missing: clarity. They have vague notions of what they want, but when it comes down to it, they're shooting in the dark. Here's the thing. Many people confuse vague wishes with clear goals. They say things like, I want to be healthier, or I want to be more successful. And while those sound good on the surface, they're setting themselves up for failure from day one. Why? Because there's no way to measure progress, no way to know if you're on the right track, and so you may not see traction. And what's surprising is the more people consider getting healthier, the minimum amount. Imagine this, you're planning a road trip. You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving, hoping you'll end up somewhere nice, would you? Of course not. You'd choose a destination, map out your route, and plan your stops along the way. That's exactly what clarity does for your goals. So let's break this down with a common example. Compare these two statements. 1, I want to be healthier. 2, I will exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. The first statement is a wish. It's vague, open to interpretation, and gives you no clear direction. The second statement, on the other hand, is a goal. It's specific, measurable, and gives you a clear action plan. You know exactly what you need to do and how often you need to do it. This isn't just my opinion. Research backs this up. Studies have shown that setting specific, measurable goals significantly increases the likelihood of achieving them. In fact, one study found that people who set specific goals were 90% more likely to achieve them compared to those who set vague goals. But clarity isn't just about what you want to achieve. It's also about why you want to achieve it. This is where many people fall short. They focus on the what without really understanding the why. What I mean by that is a new study. Let me give you an example. Say you set a goal to earn an extra $1,000 a month. That's specific and measurable, which is great. But why do you want to earn that extra money? Is it to pay off debt? To save for a dream vacation? To have more financial security? Understanding your why adds depth and meaning to your goal. It fuels your motivation when things get tough. Remember this, clarity of purpose is what fuels motivation and resilience in the face of challenges. When you're crystal clear on what you want and why you want it, you're much more likely to push through obstacles and setbacks. And lastly, think about it. When you're having a tough day and you're tempted to skip your workout, which is more likely to get you moving, a vague wish to be healthier, or a clear goal of running a 5K race in 3 months to honor a loved one who battled heart disease, the specific goal with a meaningful why gives you that extra push when you need it most. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get it, clarity is important, but how do I actually achieve it? Great question. Let me walk you through a process that can help you gain that all-important clarity. First, start with your big picture vision. What do you want your life to look like in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Don't censor yourself here. Let your imagination run wild. Write it all down. Next, break that vision down into specific areas of your life: career, health, relationships, personal growth, finances, whatever categories matter most to you. For each area, ask yourself, what specific changes or improvements do I want to see? Now, here's where the magic happens. For each of those changes or improvements, ask yourself why 5 times. Yes, 5 times. It might feel silly at first, but trust me, this exercise can reveal some profound insights. You'll be surprised. You probably don't know why you're doing things, right? As people use the phrase, it's the small things that make the big difference. So trust me, this exercise can reveal some profound insights. Let's say you want to earn more money. Your 5 whys might look like this. 1, why do I want to earn more money? To have more financial security. 2, why do I want more financial security? So I don't have to worry about unexpected. 3, why don't I want to worry about unexpected expenses? So I can feel more relaxed and less stressed. Okay. 4, why do I want to feel more relaxed and less stressed? So I can be more present and enjoy time with my family. 5, why do I want to be more present and enjoy time with my family? Because my relationships are what truly matter to me. And I want to nurture them. And I want to have more time for the family. Because my family means the world to me. And the answer is yes, this is true. This is the real answer. And finally, see how we went from a surface level goal of earning more money to a deep, meaningful why. That's the power of, once you have your clear goals and your compelling whys, the final step is to make them smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This framework ensures that your goals are not just clear, but also practical and actionable. Let's revisit our exercise example. Instead of I want to be healthier, you might end up with I will exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week for the next 3 months to improve my cardiovascular health and have more energy to play with my kids. This goal is specific, 30 minutes of exercise, measurable, achievable. Achievable, it's a realistic time commitment, relevant, it aligns with your why of wanting to be more active with your family, and time-bound for the next 3 months. Now, here's something crucial to remember. Clarity isn't a one and done process. It's ongoing. As you progress towards your goals, you'll gain new insights. Your priorities might shift. That's okay. In fact, it's normal. The key is to regularly check in with yourself and adjust your goals as needed. Think of clarity as your North Star. It guides you, keeps you on track, and helps you navigate the inevitable twists and turns of your journey. When you're clear on what you want and why you want it, you're much more likely to stay motivated, even when the going gets tough. But, and this is important, clarity alone isn't enough. It's a crucial first step, but it's just that, a first step. You need more than just a clear vision. You need a roadmap to turn that vision into reality. Imagine you're standing at the base of a mountain. Clarity is like having a crystal clear view of the summit. You can see exactly where you want to go. But to actually reach that summit, you need a path. You need to know which trails to take, where the difficult stretches are, where you can rest and refuel. That's where a solid plan comes in. A plan takes your clear vision and breaks it down into actionable steps. It anticipates obstacles and prepares you to overcome them. It sets milestones along the way so you can track your progress and celebrate your wins. Number 4, never fixate on a legitimate goal. In the next section, we're going to dive into exactly how to create that plan. We'll talk about the power of the 90-day blueprint and why it's the perfect time frame for making significant progress towards your goals. Remember, success isn't about making one big leap. It's about taking consistent, purposeful steps in the right direction. Clarity shows you the direction. A good plan shows you the steps. Together, they're an unbeatable combination. Leaders should spend your life improving the company culture, care for the people, provide them with freedom and flexibility, show them what is in their contribution, what contributes to growth and success. Clarity shows you the direction. A good plan shows you the steps. Clarity shows you the direction. Clarity shows you the path. Clarity shows you reality. Earn your wages in your life. Largest embodiment. So, as we move forward, I want you to keep this in mind. Clarity is your foundation. It's the solid ground you build everything else on. Take the time to get clear on what you truly want and why you want it. It might feel challenging at first, but I promise you, it's worth the effort. Because when you have that clarity, when you know exactly what you're aiming for and why it matters to you, you become unstoppable. You have the focus to cut through distractions, the motivation to push through challenges, and the resilience to bounce back from setbacks. Are you ready to gain that clarity? Are you ready to set goals that truly resonate with who you are and what you want? Good, because in our next section, we're going to take that clarity and turn it into a concrete plan for success. Get ready to transform your clear vision into tangible results. Brothers, here's a powerful exercise. Spend a day tracking every decision you make. What you eat, how you spend your time, who you interact with. At the end of the day, look at each decision and ask yourself, did this move me closer to my goals or further away? You might be surprised at how many small decisions are actually working against you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. All this preparation sounds like a lot of work. And you're right, it is. But here's the thing. The work you do in this first month might not be visible to others, but it's crucial. It's like the roots of a tree. You don't see them, but they're what allow the tree to grow tall and strong. Right? So you've got to build the first foundation. Research backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that people who took time to prepare and plan before starting a new goal were 23% more likely to succeed than those who jumped right in. Another study from the University of Scranton showed that people who clearly defined their goals and created a specific plan were 42% more likely to achieve those goals. But it's not just about setting goals and making plans. It's about preparing your mind and your environment for success. A fascinating study from Stanford University found that people who visualized their ideal future and then contrasted it with their current reality were more motivated and took more action towards their goals than those who only focused on positive visualization. So how do you put all this into practice? Week 1, self-assessment. Take stock of where you are. Be honest with yourself about your strengths, weaknesses, and current habits. Week 2, goal clarification. Get crystal clear on what you want to achieve. Break your 90-day goal down into monthly and weekly milestones. Week 3, environment setup. Audit your physical and social environment. Make changes to support your goals. Design to support your goals. In what ways can you do that? In what ways can you do something else for the other 2 weeks? Week 4, habit design. Start small. Choose 1 or 2 key habits that will move you towards your goal and focus on making them consistent. Remember, think of it like planting a garden. In this first month, you're preparing the soil, choosing your seeds, and creating the right conditions for growth. It might not look like much on the surface, but beneath the ground, important things are happening. Remember, you heard the classic saying, leaf by leaf, leaf by leaf. Now, I want you to understand something crucial. The work you do in this first month is setting you up for accelerated progress in the coming months. By taking the time to assess, clarify, and prepare, you're creating a launch pad for success. You're not just working towards your goals, you're becoming the kind of person who achieves goals consistently. Imagine this. It's 1 month from now. You've done the hard work of self-assessment. You've clarified your goals and broken them down into manageable steps. You've optimized your environment for success. You've started building key habits. I tell you, you'll feel focused, prepared, and confident. You'll have a clear roadmap to follow and the tools you need to succeed. But here's the really exciting part. You won't just be ready to make progress. You'll be poised for exponential growth. Because when you have clarity, a solid plan, and the right environment, your efforts compound. Each step forward becomes easier than the last. Each small win builds momentum for the next. So, as we wrap up this section, I want you to remember this. The foundation you lay in this first month is the key to your success. It might not be glamorous, It might not be exciting, but it's absolutely essential. Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to dig deep, get clear, and set yourself up for success? Good, because with your foundation in place, it's time to start building momentum. And that's exactly what we'll talk about in the next section. Once again, remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But it's not just any step. It's a step taken with clarity, purpose, and preparation. So let's take that step together. Let's lay the foundation for your success. Because when you do, there's no limit to what you can achieve. 6, week 5, building momentum. Have you ever tried to push a heavy object? You strain and struggle, putting all your might into that first push. It feels impossible, like you're fighting against an immovable force. But then something magical happens. The object starts to move, just a little at first, and suddenly it becomes easier. Each push takes less effort than the last. That's momentum in action. That's momentum to grow. You want to grow. You want things to be easier. That's momentum in action. Now imagine applying that same principle to your goals and personal growth. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're entering weeks 5, 8 of our 90-day journey. And this is where things get really exciting. This is where we start building momentum. Let me tell you, momentum is crucial when it comes to sustaining progress. It's the difference between struggling every day to stay on track and feeling like you're being pulled towards your goals. It's what turns difficult actions into habits and habits into a lifestyle. But here's the thing. This is also where many people falter. The initial excitement of starting something new has worn off. Reality has set in. Maybe you've hit a plateau or you're facing unexpected challenges. This is the point where it's tempting to give up, to fall back into old patterns. I want you to know that if you're feeling this way, you're not alone. It's completely normal. In fact, research shows that motivation naturally ebbs and flows. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that motivation tends to dip around the midpoint of any goal pursuit. The researchers called this the middle slump. So, how do we overcome this slump? How do we keep pushing forward when things get tough? That's what I'm going to share with you today. We're going to explore strategies for maintaining motivation and overcoming common obstacles during this crucial phase. First, let's talk about habit formation. You see, building momentum isn't about relying on motivation or willpower. It's about creating habits that carry you forward even when you don't feel like it. And here's some good news. Research shows that it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. By week 5, you're already well on your way. One powerful strategy for habit formation is what psychologists call habit stacking. This involves linking a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you want to start meditating, you might decide to do it right after you brush your teeth in the morning. By piggybacking on an established habit, you're more likely to follow through consistently. Another key to building momentum is understanding your own motivation cycles. We all have times of day when we're naturally more energized and focused. Some people are morning larks, others are night owls. Pay attention to when you feel most productive and try to schedule your most important tasks during these peak times. Now let's address a common obstacle, the fear of failure. This fear can be paralyzing, especially as you start to make progress. You might worry about losing what you've gained or not living up to expectations. But here's a powerful reframe. Failures are not setbacks, they're feedback. Each failure is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. In fact, research on the psychology of perseverance shows that how we view setbacks is crucial to our success. A study from Stanford University found that people who saw intelligence and abilities as qualities that can be developed, a growth mindset, were more likely to persevere in the face of challenges than those who saw these qualities as fixed. So, how can you develop this growth mindset? Start by changing your self-talk. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try, I can't do this yet. Instead of, this is too hard, say, this is challenging, but I'm learning and improving. These small shifts in language can have a big impact on your mindset and motivation. Another powerful strategy for maintaining momentum is to focus on progress, not perfection. It's easy to get discouraged if you're always comparing yourself to an ideal end state. Instead, look at how far you've come. Celebrate your small wins. Each step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Here's an exercise I want you to try. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you did that moved you closer to your goals. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you drank an extra glass of water, or you resisted the urge to procrastinate on a task. By acknowledging these small victories, you're reinforcing positive behaviors and building confidence. The question I love to ask is, what would you do differently if the goal was $1,000 an hour? And nobody would expect you to hit the number. Is a goal like $1,000 an hour? Yes, that's the question, right? The question is something like this: what would you do differently? Here's a little simple example. Now, let me tell you something exciting. The efforts you make during this phase will compound over time, leading to exponential results. It's like rolling a snowball down a hill. At first, it seems like nothing's happening. But as the snowball picks up snow, it grows larger, which allows it to pick up even more snow. Before you know it, you've got an unstoppable force. This principle of compounding applies to your personal growth too. Each small, consistent action you take builds on the last. Maybe you start by reading 10 pages a day. That might not seem like much, but over a month, that's 300 pages. Over a year, it's 3,650 pages. That's about 12 books. And that's just from one small, consistent action. Now, but here's the really exciting part. As you build these habits and see results, your confidence grows. As your confidence grows, you're more likely to take on bigger challenges. As you overcome bigger challenges, your skills improve. It's a beautiful self-enforcing cycle. Remember this: small, consistent actions during this phase create a snowball effect of progress. It's not about making huge leaps. It's about taking small steps every single day. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Because each time you show up, you're building momentum, right? Imagine this: it's 2 months from now. You've been consistently taking small actions towards your goals. You've pushed through the tough days. You've celebrated your wins, learned from your setbacks. How do you think you'll feel? I'll tell you, you'll feel unstoppable, because you'll have built a momentum that carries you forward, even when things get tough. The next way out of this framework is the strategy of writing down your goals. By how many people did you work with last year? How many people did you not reach your goals? You've built a momentum that carries you forward, even when things get tough. But Don't just take my word for it. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that the more frequently a behavior is repeated in a consistent context, the more automatic it becomes. In other words, the more you do something, the easier it gets. That's momentum in action. So as we wrap up this section, I want you to remember this. Building momentum isn't about making huge leaps. It's about taking small, consistent steps. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, because each step forward, no matter how small, is progress, and progress builds momentum. Are you ready to build that momentum? Are you ready to push through the middle slump and come out stronger on the other side? Good. Because as your momentum builds, it's time to start seeing tangible results. And that's exactly what we'll talk about in the next section. Remember, the journey of personal growth isn't always easy. There will be days when you feel like you're pushing against an immovable object. But keep pushing. Keep showing up. Because once you get that momentum going, there's no telling how far you can go. So let's keep rolling. Let's build that momentum, because the best is yet to come. Remember when learning to ride a bike seemed impossible? Your legs wobbled, your hands gripped the handlebars too tight, and you were sure you'd never get the hang of it. But then, almost like magic, it clicked. Suddenly, you were flying down the street, wind in your hair, feeling invincible. That's exactly where we are now in our 90-day journey. Welcome to the final month, weeks 9 to 12. This is where things get really exciting. This is the period of rapid growth and visible progress. Everything you've been working towards, all the habits you've been building, the momentum you've gathered, it's all about to pay off in a big way. But let me tell you, this is also where the real challenges emerge. Success brings new obstacles and higher stakes. It's like leveling up in a video game. The rewards are bigger, but so are the risks. You're no longer just trying to establish new habits or build momentum. Now you're pushing to new heights, breaking through plateaus and redefining what you thought was possible. Now, don't imagine this. You've been working out consistently for 2 months. You've seen progress, but now the gains are slowing down. Or maybe you've been learning a new skill and you've mastered the basics, but now you're facing more complex challenges. This is where many people hit a wall. They get comfortable with their progress and stop pushing forward. But not you. You're going to accelerate. See, how do we do this? How do we take our progress to the next level? It's all about advanced strategies for scaling up efforts, overcoming plateaus, and pushing boundaries. Let's start with scaling up. This isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. Remember, you've spent 2 months building habits and systems. Now it's time to leverage those systems to achieve more with less effort. Tom and I were asked recently how communication in practice has changed for the better in law school. Let's find out. One powerful strategy is what psychologists call chunking. This involves grouping related tasks or information together to make them easier to process and accomplish. For example, if you're learning a new language, instead of trying to memorize individual words, you might focus on learning common phrases or sentences. This allows you to absorb more information more quickly. Another key to scaling up is to focus on your high leverage activities. These are the tasks that give you the biggest return on your time investment. Ask yourself, what are the 20% of activities that give me 80% of my results? Double down on those. The last 12 months of your life are going to run themselves. They can't wait to be given to me. So I'm going to double down on those. Okay? So now let's talk about overcoming plateaus. Plateaus are a natural part of any growth journey. They're not a sign of failure. They're a sign that you're ready for a new challenge. And this is the time to learn from your proofs. Jesus had 3 titles: prophet, employer, master. One effective way to break through a plateau is to introduce variability into your routine. If you've been doing the same workout for weeks, try a completely different type of exercise. If you've been practicing a skill the same way every day, try approaching it from a new angle. This not only challenges your body or mind in new ways, but also keeps things interesting and engaging. Another powerful technique is what's known as deliberate practice. This isn't just about putting in more hours, it's about making those hours count. Deliberate practice involves pushing yourself just beyond your current abilities, receiving immediate feedback, and making targeted improvements. It's challenging, often uncomfortable, but incredibly effective. Here's a fascinating piece of research. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that people who engaged in deliberate practice improved their performance at more than twice the rate of those who simply repeated the same tasks. That's the power of pushing your boundaries. Now let's explore some advanced goal achievement techniques. One powerful approach is the use of visualization. Athletes have been using this technique for years to enhance their performance. But it's not just about picturing success. It's about mentally rehearsing the process of achieving your goals, including overcoming potential obstacles. A study from the Cleveland Clinic Foundation found that people who visualized exercising a muscle group increased their muscle strength by 13.5% without actually doing any physical exercise. Now, imagine combining that mental practice with your actual efforts. The results can be extraordinary. Another advanced technique is entering what psychologists call a flow state. You might know this as being in the zone. It's a state of peak performance where you're fully immersed in what you're doing, time seems to fly by, and your performance is at its best. Right? Research has shown that people in flow states can be up to 5 times more productive than normal. So how do you enter this state? It often happens when you're working on something that's just beyond your current skill level, challenging enough to engage you fully, but not so difficult that it overwhelms you. First, you have to come into the flow state. When you open your eyes, you relax into a flow state. When you get there, as a result, it becomes a comforting state. Researchers have shown that people in flow states perform longer hours, retain more information, and train their brains faster than efficiently. Here's the really exciting part. The progress you make during this final push will set the tone for the rest of your year and beyond. You're not just achieving short-term goals here. You're setting a new baseline for your future growth. And that, think about it, every limit you push past, every new level you reach, that becomes your new normal. It's like when you first learned to ride that bike. Once you mastered it, you never went back to thinking it was impossible. Your whole world expanded. Right? And then from there, you could build your way further. And the more conviction you have in the future for when the results don't work, who cares? That's what we have to do with our mindsets. That's what's happening now. You're not just achieving goals, you're becoming a new version of yourself. A version that's more capable, more confident, more resilient, a version that sees challenges as opportunities and obstacles as stepping stones. Right? Research backs this up. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that when people achieve challenging goals, it significantly boosts their self-efficacy, their belief in their ability to succeed in specific situations. This increased self-efficacy then leads to setting and achieving even more ambitious goals in the future. So as you push through these final weeks, remember this: you're not just working towards a finish line, you're building a launch pad for your future growth. Every effort you make, every challenge you overcome is an investment in your future self. Imagine this: 3 months from now, you've completed your 90-day journey. You've pushed past plateaus, scaled up your efforts, and achieved things you once thought were impossible. How do you think you'll feel? I'll tell you, you'll feel unstoppable, because you'll have proven to yourself what you're truly capable of. But here's the thing, and this is crucial: the journey doesn't end at 90 days. This isn't a sprint with a finish line. It's more like learning to play an instrument. You don't practice for 90 days and then say, well, I've mastered the piano, time to stop practicing. No, you keep going, keep improving, keep pushing your boundaries. That's why maintaining momentum beyond the 90 days is so important. You've built something incredible over these 3 months. You've created habits, systems, and a mindset geared for success. Now it's about leveraging that foundation to reach even greater heights. So, as we wrap up this section, I want you to start thinking about what comes next. How will you maintain this momentum? How will you continue to challenge yourself and grow? Because the skills and mindset you've developed over these 90 days aren't just for achieving a specific goal. They're tools you can use for a lifetime of growth and achievement. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step, but it doesn't end there. It continues, one step at a time, each one taking you further than you've ever been before. You've taken those first steps, you've built momentum. Now it's time to fly. Are you ready to push your boundaries? Are you ready to redefine what's possible for you? Good. Because in these final weeks, you're not just finishing a 90-day journey, you're launching into a future of unlimited potential. Let's make it count. Here's a tough question. How many times have you achieved a goal only to slide back into old habits? It's a common experience, isn't it? You work hard, you reach your target, you celebrate, and then slowly but surely you find yourself right back where you started. It's frustrating, demoralizing, and all too familiar for many of us. I can tell you for myself, let me tell you, this challenge of maintaining progress after the initial push is one of the biggest hurdles in personal development. It's like climbing a mountain, reaching the summit, and then realizing you have to find a way to stay there. The view is breathtaking, but the air is thin and gravity is constantly pulling you back down. Here's the thing: many people treat the 90-day mark as a finish line. They see it as the end of the journey, the point where they can relax and enjoy their achievements. But that's a dangerous mindset, because in reality, the 90-day mark isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Imagine this: you've just completed a 90-day fitness challenge. You're feeling great. You've lost weight. You're stronger than you've ever been. But what happens on day 91? Do you just stop exercising? Do you go back to your old eating habits? Of course not. At least not if you want to maintain your progress. Canadians are very partial to the real challenge, the real test of your transformation begins after those 90 days are over. It's about turning those new behaviors into a lifestyle, about making your progress sustainable. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally maintains those positive changes, rather than someone who's always struggling against their old habits. Um, the So how do we do this? How do we ensure that our 90-day transformation isn't just a temporary blip, but the start of a lifelong journey of growth and improvement? Let's explore some strategies for integrating new habits, setting new goals, and continually raising the bar. First, let's talk about habit integration. The key here is to make your new behaviors so ingrained in your daily routine that they become automatic. Research shows that it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. By the end of your 90-day journey, you're already well on your way. But to really cement these habits, you need to keep practicing them consistently. To make your new habits the most likely, you need to try beforehand what your new habit would be. One powerful technique is what psychologists call habit stacking. This involves linking a new habit to an existing one. For example, if you've developed a habit of daily meditation during your 90-day journey, you might link it to your morning coffee routine. Every time you make your coffee, that becomes your cue to meditate. By piggybacking on an established habit, you're more likely to maintain your new behavior long-term. Another crucial aspect of sustaining success is setting new goals. Remember, growth is a continuous process. Once you've achieved one goal, it's time to set a new one. But here's the key. Your new goals should build on your previous achievements, not completely shift your focus. Now, ask yourself, how can I take what I have accomplished and push it to the next level? If you've successfully established a regular exercise routine, maybe your next goal is to train for a specific event, like a 5K run or a weightlifting competition. If you've developed a daily writing habit, perhaps your next goal is to write a book. The point is to keep challenging yourself, to keep pushing your boundaries, because when you stop growing, you start sliding backwards. It's like riding a bicycle. You have to keep pedaling to keep moving forward. And so the lessons in this book are: take care of yourself, pay your bills. Now let's talk about the psychology of sustained success. Research in this area has revealed some fascinating insights. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who view their personality traits as changeable, what psychologists call a growth mindset, are more likely to maintain positive changes over time. However, what does this mean for you? It means that believing in your ability to change and grow is crucial for long-term success. If you see your achievements as the result of hard work and effective strategies rather than innate talent or luck, you're more likely to keep putting in the effort to maintain and improve your results. Money is one of the most powerful things in the world. Another key factor in sustained success is what psychologists call self-efficacy, your belief in your ability to succeed in specific situations. As you achieve your goals and overcome challenges during your 90-day journey, you build self-efficacy. This increased confidence in your abilities makes you more likely to take on new challenges and persist in the face of obstacles. But here's the really exciting part. The real power of this 90-day approach isn't just in what you achieve in those 3 months. It's in who you become through the process. You see, this journey isn't just about changing your behaviors or achieving specific goals. It's about transforming your identity. Imagine this. At the start of your 90-day journey, you might have thought of yourself as someone who wants to get in shape. But by the end, after consistently exercising and eating well for 3 months, you've become someone who is fit and healthy. It's not just something you do anymore, it's who you are. This shift in identity is incredibly powerful because once you see yourself as a fit and healthy person, or a productive writer, or a successful entrepreneur, your actions naturally align with that identity. You're no longer fighting against your old self. You're simply living up to who you've become. The second act, let me tell you this, process of identity transformation is the key to long-term sustainable change. It's what turns a temporary push into a lifelong journey of growth and achievement. It's what allows you to maintain your progress, not through constant willpower and struggle, but as a natural expression of who you are. Remember this, you are not just what you do, you are what you do consistently. And over these 90 days, you've been consistently acting in alignment with your goals and values. You've been reshaping your habits, your mindset, and ultimately your identity. So as you move beyond the 90-day mark, don't think of it as the end of a journey. Think of it as the beginning of a new chapter in your life, a chapter where you're living as this new, improved version of yourself, where the positive changes you've made are no longer things you have to force yourself to do, but simply expressions of who you are. Here's a powerful exercise to help you maintain this momentum. Take some time to write a detailed description of the person you've become through this journey. What are your new habits? How do you think differently now? How do you approach challenges? Really immerse yourself in this new identity. Then, whenever you face obstacles or feel tempted to slide back into old habits, revisit this description. Remind yourself, this is who I am now. This is how I act. This is what I believe. Use it as a compass to guide your decisions and actions. Remember, sustaining success isn't about perfection. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, but with your new identity, your new habits, and your new mindset, you're equipped to handle these obstacles in ways you never could before. As we wrap up this section, I want you to think about the journey you've been on. Think about how far you've come, not just in terms of what you've achieved, but in terms of who you've become, because that's the real measure of success. Are you ready to carry this momentum forward? Are you ready to continue growing, learning, and pushing your boundaries? Good, because this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a lifelong journey of growth and achievement. Now, let's recap the key elements that make this 90-day approach so powerful. It's not just about setting goals and working hard for 3 months. It's about building habits, reshaping your mindset, and ultimately transforming your identity. It's about creating a foundation for sustained success that goes far beyond those initial 90 days. Now, let's go into the third part. Remember, every day is a chance to reinforce who you've become, to take another step forward on your journey. The question is, what will you do with that chance? How will you continue to grow, to challenge yourself, to become even better than you are today? You're just leaving it. The choice is yours. But I believe in you. I believe in the person you've become through this journey, and I can't wait to see where you go from here, because the best is yet to come. Let's make it happen. As we reach the end of our journey, let's reflect on what we've learned. The first 90 days of 2025 aren't just about ticking off goals on a list. They're about becoming someone new, someone who doesn't just dream, but achieves. This blueprint we've explored, It's not some magic wand, it's a tool. And like any tool, its power lies in how you use it. Think about it. Every single day is a chance to move forward, to take one more step towards the person you want to be. Will you take that chance? Will you use this blueprint to reshape not just your actions, but your very identity? Remember, the journey doesn't end here. This is just the beginning. You've laid the foundation, built momentum, and pushed your boundaries. Now it's time to keep going, to keep growing. Because the person you've become through this process, they're capable of amazing things. So ask yourself, what will you do with this new knowledge, this new perspective? How will you use it to make 2025 not just a good year, but a transformative one?